If you ever see a crisp, tightly folded banknote lying on the street, please leave it exactly where it is. My life used to be completely predictable, safe, and ordinary. I worked as a manager at a local bakery, counting pennies and living by a strict, unbroken routine. But on a miserable, freezing Tuesday evening, I picked up a wet $100 bill trapped in a puddle under a broken street lamp. I thought it was a stroke of luck. I didn't know that within 3 days, my apartment would become a dark prison. My phone would go completely silent, and I would be staring at my own front door in absolute terror, waiting for an invisible enemy to breach it. The bill didn't change my wallet, it altered my reality. My name is Elena 32F. For 5 years, my life was built on iron discipline. I woke up at 4:30 a.m. every single morning, opened the ovens, and took pride in my structured, quiet existence. I lived alone, avoided drama, and kept my mind perfectly focused. But that rainy Tuesday evening, a flash of clean green paper caught my eye in the dark industrial alley near my building. A $100 bill was folded into a strange, neat triangle, jammed between 2 cracked asphalt tiles. I picked it up, wiped the dirty water from it, and smiled. It felt like a tiny gift from the universe. I shoved it deep into my pocket and walked home, feeling a sudden, unusual rush of warmth. But the moment I unfolded it on my kitchen table, a cold, unexplainable weight settled in my stomach. The bill looked real, but under the harsh fluorescent light, I noticed a tiny, handwritten sequence scratched into the very edge of the margin. They are counting. It was written in microscopic, faded black ink, almost invisible unless you looked closely. I laughed it off, thinking it was just a joke or a random marking from a previous owner. I placed the bill in the center of the table and went to bed. But as I lay in the dark, the rhythm of the rain outside began to sound like footsteps, and the silence of my apartment felt heavy, dense, and unnatural. A strange, invisible trigger had been pulled inside my mind, and the walls of my safe world were already beginning to close in. The paranoia didn't arrive like a sudden storm. It seeped in through the minor details of my regular routine. On Wednesday morning, I woke up with a crushing, blinding headache, having barely slept a single hour. My iron discipline slipped for the first time. I missed my alarm and opened the bakery 2 hours late. My boss gave me a severe, humiliating reprimand in front of the morning customers. My hands were shaking so violently I dropped a tray of fresh bread. But instead of focusing on my mistake, my mind was locked on the bakery windows. Every car that slowed down outside looked suspicious. Every customer who didn't make eye contact felt like a plant, an observer sent to monitor me. When my shift ended, the pressure inside my head was unbearable. I needed to quiet the noise, to stop the sudden, terrifying anxiety that was clawing at my chest. I walked past my usual grocery store and bought a bottle of strong, cheap liquor, using my own money because I was too terrified to touch the found $100 bill. That evening, my apartment felt different. The air was thick. I took a drink, then another, trying to wash away the feeling that I was being watched. I looked at my phone, and my heart stopped. There was no signal. A message on the screen read, "Emergency calls only." I ran to the window and looked through the blinds. A dark, unidentified vehicle was idling across the street, its headlights turned off. I sat on the kitchen floor with the bottle, staring at the bill on the counter. The environment was whispering, and every shadow had a face. By Thursday, the invisible trap had achieved a total social quarantine. I didn't go to work at all. I called in sick, my voice sounding ragged, unhinged, and distant. I spent the entire day systematically locking every window, taping down the edges of the curtains, and turning off every appliance that made a sound. The silence was absolute, yet my brain was screaming. I began to construct elaborate theories. Was the bill a tracking device used by a criminal syndicate? Was it a test? Was the micro-lettering a code for a countdown? Every time the old radiator clicked or the floorboards creaked, I froze, holding my breath for minutes at a time, convinced they were inside the walls. I tried to call my mother from my laptop, but the internet connection kept dropping, displaying erratic encryption errors. It felt like an intentional lockdown, a calculated effort to isolate me from any human contact. before the final strike. To numb the suffocating terror, I kept drinking directly from the bottle. The alcohol didn't bring peace. It fueled the hallucination of danger. My clean, spotless apartment disintegrated into a chaotic mess of overturned chairs and defensive barriers. I placed the $100 bill in a glass jar, sealing it tight as if it were a venomous insect. I was a prisoner in my own home, guarded by an enemy I couldn't see, running out of time, and completely drowning in a self-inflicted chemical fog. The climax of the terror arrived on Thursday night, exactly 72 hours after I picked up the money. It was 3:14 a.m. I was sitting in the corner of my bedroom, wrapped in a dirty blanket, my eyes wide and bloodshot from a mix of alcohol and absolute sleep deprivation. Suddenly, a heavy metallic thud echoed from the front hallway. Thump, thump. Someone was aggressively turning the doorknob from the outside, testing the lock. My heart exploded against my ribs. The invisible enemy was finally here. They had come to reclaim the asset. They had come for me. Panic took complete control of my motor functions. I crawled into my small wardrobe, pulling heavy winter coats over my body, pressing myself against the back wall until my spine hurt. I heard the sound of wood splintering as the front door was forced open. Heavy, slow footsteps entered my apartment, moving through the kitchen, shattering the glass jar on the table. The footsteps moved into my bedroom, stopping right outside my wardrobe door. I could hear heavy breathing through the wood. I squeezed my eyes shut, tears mixing with the stale sweat on my face, waiting for the cold hands to drag me out into the void. The wardrobe door creaked open. A bright, blinding white beam of a flashlight pierced through the garments, hitting my face, and a booming voice shouted, "We have a live one here. Call the paramedics. She's unresponsive." When I woke up, the darkness was gone, replaced by the clean, sterile white walls of a municipal psychiatric hospital. The doctors sat by my bed, and over the next 2 weeks, the terrifying mystery was finally dismantled, piece by piece. There was no cartel. There was no tracking device, no dark SUV, and no international conspiracy. The black car across the street belonged to a neighbor whose engine had broken down. The broken telephone signal was a routine utility maintenance outage in my district. And the heavy footsteps breaking down my door? It was the emergency services and my landlord, called by my mother after I had spent 3 days shouting nonsensical, paranoid phrases into my dead phone's voice recorder. The handwritten text on the bill, "They are counting," was just a random, meaningless scribble made by a child or a teller years ago. But my mind, already burned out by years of exhausting, unrewarded shifts and a hidden, deeply suppressed clinical depression, had used that spark to explode into a full acute paranoid psychosis. The found $100 bill hadn't broken my life. It had simply broken the dam holding back my internal illness. The ease of that unearned money had fractured my discipline, and the alcohol did the rest, creating a terrifying illusion of danger to justify my own mental collapse. Today, I am recovering. My life is small, my career at the bakery is gone, and I am rebuilding my sanity from scratch. I learned that the mind is the most dangerous trap of all. If you find fortune on the street, remember the shadows you see aren't chasing you from the outside. They are already waiting within.